The Steffi Small Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Earn up to $750 per month on your sports gambling transactions. Go to edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Rhythm is giving away a $250 future and throwing a March Madness party. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. And gear up for March with Merch Madness, promo code Madness for 20% off in the SGPN store. Get in now before the promo code is gone.
Are you ready?
I already see the chat chiming in that, yes, I am on time. Welcome in, guys, to the Steffi Small Show. I am Steffi Smalls. This is the first episode of us on the SGPN network. I'm so excited to be here. This is the only place I wanted the show to be. We are finally off the streets. We're still going to be a little bit ratty today. Also going to shock people. Not only am I on time, but we're going to talk a little bit of basketball. In order to do that, I'm bringing on Munaf first to talk a little bit of NBA futures. And then Colby is going to join us for March Madness Primer. And then we'll get into something that I do love very much, and that is Golf API, one of my favorite tournaments. And my friend Brad Thomas is going to join us. We'll get into some early bets. So now let's bring in Money's Munaf. We all love Money's Munaf. This isn't a new part to the show. Hi, Munaf. How are you?
I am doing well. Welcome to the hosting world. Welcome to SGPN. This is brings back old times. What the hell are we doing? Talking basketball with Steffi Smalls.
It'll be great. We're gonna have a blast.
We're gonna learn.
We're gonna have a blast. Munaf just watched me have a little bit of a BITCH fit backstage. I'm sorry, Ryan. I already feel bad that I was being a little bit not nice, but that's okay. We're gonna play Smash or Pass. Have I done this with you yet on the show?
I feel like we have in like the 100th show that we've done, but we'll figure it out as we go along.
It's gonna be a blast. So we're gonna start out here, NBA future wise. Smash or Pass, the Cavaliers to win the championship plus 600.
Oh man.
First in the Eastern Conference right now.
Yeah.
50-10. People didn't have high expectations for this team. Now they're sitting kind of pretty. But do they have to beat Boston? How does that go?
I really like the construction of their roster. It's been in the making for about 2 to 3 seasons now. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say smash because I like their two guys up front, and Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. Gives them rim protection, gives them some defense in that front court. And they can also put the ball inside the basket. And then your backcourt guys and Donovan Mitchell, he has a lot of playoff experience. Darius Garland's there as well. The one move that puts them over the top, Steffi, is that DeAndre Hunter trade they did at the trade deadline. Gives them some versatility, a 3-and-D guy. And their bench is pretty solid as well. So I'll put my faith in Cleveland. I'll smash it.
Okay, well, we'll get a team with a little bit longer odds. So the Warriors to win the championship, they're 25-1 on FanDuel. They're 7th in the Western Conference. Where are you at with them? Smash or pass?
I'm going to pass them, at least for this season. They've looked really good since the trade for Jimmy Butler coming from Miami to the Warriors. And they've looked really good since the All-Star break. I still feel like there are some holes to fill on this roster. The big thing for them, look, they got Jimmy Butler signed the extension, so you'll get Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry for several more seasons. I think they'll build around them. Maybe not for this year, but I think for maybe next season, the season after, I think there's a real possibility that the Warriors could make some noise in the West. So at least for this season, I'll pass.
Okay. Who's your team again?
My team is the Rockets. I should probably change this banner now just because it's basketball season. So
do you normally do that? You make
I don't, but isn't that something I should do? It's like once football season's over, I should probably put I'll get it changed.
Texting me to talk about things that I'm not supposed to talk about on the show, and I can't talk about football today, so I have to ignore it. Okay, SGA to win Finals MVP. That's plus 750. Smash or pass? Because I like this one a little bit.
I'm a little skeptical about this Thunder team. I still think they need to prove it to me in the playoffs. I know they got to the Western Conference Finals last year to lose to the Dallas Mavericks. I'm gonna pass it because I need them to prove it to me, and it could be this season. SGA is going to be regular season MVP. We know that he's like minus 600. But I think for Finals MVP, I think the Lakers could give them a run for their money, and I feel like the Boston Celtics or even the Cleveland Cavaliers could possibly beat the OKC Thunder if they get to the finals. I don't think the Thunder get to the finals. I could be wrong, but I'm going to pass that one.
You're not convinced there. Have you placed any finals MVP, or is that something you kind of stay away from for a little bit?
I usually assess it when the seedings are finalized because I kind of want to see the path for some of these teams. But I mean, at least for the Western Conference, it's a little bit up in the air. So I haven't placed anything quite yet. I will probably starting maybe April once we kind of figure out where the seedings will be, but not quite yet.
All right, we'll have to do a temperature check closer too, so I can tell you on some of that. Cade Cunningham. I saw Terrell tweeting about this a little bit today. To win most improved minus 275. Smash or pass?
Oh, I am smashing this 2-3 times because I did place a 14-1 on.
Did
Cade
you?
Cunningham. Yeah, and I gave it out on the NBA pod when we did kind of. I think it was like a couple of months after the season started. Because Cade had looked really, really good. He was going to make the All-Star team. He put up triple doubles, and the way the Pistons are playing right now, it's been absolutely fantastic for them. So I'm sitting on that 14-1 ticket for Cade. So hoping he does not get hurt and he does finish the season. So
if someone does catch him, who is it?
I would have to look at the odds. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Here, I got it.
Or you're not really convinced. You seem like you're pretty sold here on.
Yeah, I mean at minus 600. I think there was a case for Norman Powell at 10-1, but he's missed some games. So I'm not sure if he'll meet that criteria of 65 games. Tyler Hero makes a lot of sense as well. He also made the All-Star team for the first time, I believe, in his career. He's at plus 750. After that, I'm really not convinced on any of the rest of the list.
Okay. Munaf just called the rest of you bums. Okay. Smash or pass? Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year, minus 115.
I think I'll smash this one. Unfortunately, if you had that Victor Wembanyama ticket, he was like minus 3,000 before he had the unfortunate injury, and then you had maybe like a 5 to 6 minute window to go into your books and try to gobble up the Evan Mobleys and the Jaren Jackson Juniors. Evan Mobley's he's again a guy that's on the Cavs that we talked about earlier that's taking those next steps in his NBA career. So adding this to his resume of Defensive Player of the Year, I think that I think he's well on his way. Parsons brings up a great point for Dyson Daniels. He's having a fantastic season as well. He's at plus 650 right now, currently over on DraftKings. He's been really good for Atlanta, but I just feel like this will be Evan Mobley's award to lose. I think I'll look at Dyson Daniels next year for sure.
Okay. I feel like Dyson Daniels maybe is worth a little bit of a sprinkle. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all,
couldn't talk you off.
You guys can call me a casual. Clutch Player of the Year, it just sounds really corny like this, but like who wins Clutch Player of the Year?
I don't even know what the hell to do with this award because you got to like. I don't.
Was this a fucking superlative? Like, I'm sorry. Like, what are we doing here?
I really don't know. Like, they just made this award up. I think was it maybe last year, the season prior. Jalen Brunson sitting at minus 260. Yeah. This is like one of the award markets, and I hate to sound boring and dry. I don't even dabble into this market as honestly, I don't even know what the hell it is because you got to dive into the clutch minutes and whoever has the most game-winning shots and whatever. But I guess Jalen Brunson minus 260. SGA's I don't think he's not even on the list. He's not. Jokic is at 6-1. I don't know. If you want to have some fun with it, maybe just put De'Aaron Fox at 25-1 because he's done really, really well since he got traded to the Spurs. Thank you. Somebody agrees with me. Troy agrees with me.
The stupidest things I've heard. Like, I don't. Yeah. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it's just don't waste your money. Or don't.
We're just not going to do that. Isn't that what like MVP is? Like, I don't.
MVP is a little bit more intriguing when the season starts, because there's usually only like 3 to 4 guys that I think, in my opinion, are like viable guys that can win it. Like SGA this year was a popular pick. He's minus 500. And honestly, you could just give it to Jokic every single year just because if you look at his numbers, his stats, and then like the numbers when he's on the court and off the court for this Denver Nuggets team, like he should be getting it every single year. But a lot of people felt like SGA got robbed last year, but he's well on his way. I mean, he's minus 500 right now to win the MVP. So,
okay. All right. We'll move on here to meme money. This is a new segment that producer Ryan has so graciously prepared for us. Let's bring up some LeBron too old memes. Looking at a senior discount here. Lakers to win the championship, 18-1. They look pretty good right now. So what do we think here?
I kind of like it because
just
as it's kind of progressed after the Luka trade, I thought defensively this team would be atrocious because, again, LeBron's 40 plus years old. Luka doesn't play a lot of defense. Same thing with Austin Reeves, but this team has found its way as the best defensive team rating over the last like 10 games. And you got to give a lot of credit to their head coach, JJ Redick, because we thought, and a lot of people thought that our NBA junkies, that once they traded Anthony Davis, who's one of the best defensive players when healthy in the NBA, you trade that guy away for a guy like Luka who doesn't play a lot of defense and leaves a hole at the center position with no rim protection. I thought this team would fall down defensively. But when you have LeBron James and Luka on the floor together in a 7-game series, I think that's going to be very, very tough to beat. I'm starting to buy in on this Lakers team a little bit.
Yeah.
I think they could give the Thunder a run for their money. And again, NBA is all about storylines. Who wouldn't love the old rivalry of seeing the Lakers and the Celtics in the finals again? So,
or just like, it's crazy that LeBron is just like the most geriatric. Like, how are you still like playing at the level that you are?
Yeah, there's something behind there. Look, I know he spends a lot of money, like millions of dollars on his body. The longevity
like
has been there.
Stem cell something.
Yeah,
there's
but
something
I feel like
going on.
Yeah, there's something going on. Maybe
there's
we'll find
something
out
there.
after
I'm not buying it here. All right, let's bring up the Miles Turner Survivor meme.
This one was funny.
Okay, you explain this.
So obviously, with the trade deadline, what happened in the NBA this past season, anybody and everybody could have been traded. I mean, nobody saw Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic getting traded for each other. But as we were talking in pre-production with producer Ryan, Miles Turner's name is in trade rumors ever since he's probably been drafted into the NBA, and it just doesn't happen for Miles Turner. So he marked himself as a survivor after the trade deadline was officially over. So I feel like that's something that he's gonna have to do every single year going forward until he does get traded.
I feel like it would have been wittier to do the like Mark Safed one on Facebook.
Yeah, that would have been funny as well. Yeah. But I thought that was funny when he actually put it up.
Do the Pacers survive the streaking Pistons?
I really, really like this Pistons team, but I think the only thing that's kind of holding me back is that they don't have a lot of playoff experience, if at all. I think the only guy on their roster would probably have it. It's like Tobias Harris. I think it's tough to say because Indiana was so good last year. I still think they're going to be a tough out. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder. Cade's going to give me that 14-1 ticket, so I think they survived the Indiana Pacers.
Okay. Embiid has missed 49% of regular season. Like, what is going on? Can we like have a conversation here? What do you mean you have missed 49% of regular season games? Like, what are we doing here?
This is the absolute most or funniest thing out if you're not a Philadelphia 76ers fan, because the contract that they have given him, Steffi, is absolutely mind-boggling because it's all guaranteed money. And like you mentioned, he's missed 49% of his games played, or I guess eligible games that he's able to play in. And he's guaranteed $54 million next year by the Philadelphia 76ers. I saw something on Twitter where Philadelphia was trying to like contact the NBA and kind of get like a medical retirement thing so they could get this money back. That's just them saying like we fucked up on this contract and trying to get that money back. So I think it's just absolutely hilarious. I, in the personal belief that he's played his last game as a Philadelphia 76er. Now, where he ends up, maybe we could talk about that in the offseason. But the Joel Embiid thing is just absolutely hilarious.
I feel like like they had to die so the Eagles could walk.
I think Philly fans would take that any single day of the week. Yeah,
probably
100%.
Absolutely. All right, Munaf, you're the best. Thanks for coming on. Tell people where they can find you, and then I will let you go.
Yes, of course. NBA gambling podcasts still going strong 5 days a week. Propcast as well, talking player props, and then it's the month of March, which means MLB gambling podcast. We're starting division previews this week, so if you're looking for baseball stuff, come tap in on the MLB gambling podcast.
Fantastic. You're the best. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, see ya.
SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbooks, DFS sites, sweepstakes sites, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And you know your money is safe since the card is FDIC insured. The best part is no credit checks, and it is completely free. And now we got to talk some March Madness. Bring on no one better for that than Colby. Colby, how is it going?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, thanks for coming on. First show, had to bring you on, all things college. Where can people find you before we jump in here?
On social media at the Colby D on Twitter, but the college basketball experience, college football experience, and a bunch of other shows on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, which, by the way, welcome to the team.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. It feels very much like home, very degenerate, very on brand for me in my community already. So hopefully we fit in seamless here. I have to admit, I am kind of I'm a situational, college basketball watcher. One, I'm an Arizona fan, so they tend to hurt my feelings whenever something happens. And then, I'm kind of like those people that, they go to church on Easter and Christmas, so I watch during March Madness. So what teams should we be watching, or futures should we be betting on? Like if I had a free bet, who am I betting on to win?
Well, I always like to see a bracket, but for right now, I'm going to recommend a couple teams. Because, take, for example, last season, and I wrote down some teams that I like still for futures right now. But last season, you Alabama was a team that went to the Final Four, and a lot of that had to do with the bracket they were in. So, UConn was actually in the toughest bracket. They actually obviously won the national championship for a second straight year, ran through the toughest bracket, which was even more impressive. But, a couple that I like, and what I love about them is they're kind of throwbacks to old school teams. Rick Pitino with St. John's and Tom Izzo with Michigan State. And what I love about these teams are your analytics just don't make sense. You know what I mean? Based on recent champions, recent Final Four teams, they do not fit the profile for any of those. They're kind of a throwback team to the 90s with the way they play defense, especially with that Pitino who, will go to a full court press often. But they can't shoot, but man, they can play defense and they can rebound at an elite level. And that's what's kind of, I find it refreshing. Cause there's so many teams that now buy into the analytics, and I'm not, a huge fan of those things, but right now Michigan State with Tom Izzo, they're rolling. They're probably going to win the Big Ten regular season and get the 1 seed for the Big Ten tournament. They're at plus 500 to make the Final Four. I like betting the Final Four better than the national champ.
Yeah.
Just because you don't know what you're going to run into in the Final Four. But Michigan State and St. John's is plus 450. You're getting the worst of these numbers because they were so much higher a couple weeks ago, but there's still some decent value on two coaches that have just a history of winning big time games in March. For some of the other long shots, I like the Oregon Ducks at plus 3,000 to make a Final Four. And a lot of that has to do with Dana Altman. We've seen it a million times in college basketball. You kind of just trust the coaches. Like the coaches that have been there for so many years. Altman has been to the Final Four. He's been to several Elite Eights, and his teams always play better towards the end of the season. You're looking right now, I think they're on a 6-game win streak, And, this is a team that beat Alabama back in November. So they won that Vegas NIL tournament. So I just believe that they're a team that you always like going into March. And then for a couple mid-major long shots, I think St. Mary's and Drake are two to keep an eye on that could get to the Final Four. I don't think they could see the other thing is like Michigan State, Oregon, St. John's. I think it's possible that they could actually win a championship. Drake and St. Mary's, I think you're just looking for that Final Four odds right there.
Is there a team kind of like towards the top of the board here that you could see? We always see upsets. That's something that always happens. People's brackets get screwed the first round. Is there a team at the top where you could totally see being that first team that gets knocked out?
Yeah, Alabama to me is a team that they're super talented, but I don't necessarily I don't like their approach offensively of run up, just shoot a bunch of low percentage shots, try to play fast. They're number one in the country in pace. They got them to a Final Four last year and made me look like a fool, but I still believe we saw them lose to Tennessee the other day. I still believe if you get a good defensive team that can make, minimize their possessions and draw out the clock offensively, I think they could struggle. I don't know if it'll be the first round, but I think second round, I look to kind of fade them. The first round's a tough one to I would say, they're not going to be a 1 seed, but another one I'm a little weary on is Purdue. Another one I'm a little weary on is Kentucky. Those two teams right there, I don't know how far they can go this year.
All right, let's talk about some losers. What are predictions on some teams that are going to be left out of the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, and this is a critical part of the year because you're trying to see, bid stealing is a real thing. I just mentioned Drake and St. Mary's. Drake is in the Missouri Valley Conference. St. Mary's is in the WCC, the West Coast Conference. And if they don't win their conference tournaments, and another team comes along that is not, planned to be in the NCAA tournament, that can then shrink the bubble and keep teams, on the outside. But a couple that I think shouldn't be in, I don't know that I can trust the committee to keep North Carolina out because they're a big TV draw, but I don't think they're a good basketball team this year. I don't think they should be in. We'll see. I think if the bubble shrinks a little bit, I think they're going to be forced to keep them out. If not, the TV number might speak for itself. The committee might put them in, but I'm going to fade them. I don't think they're a good basketball team this year. The ACC has been historically bad. And another team in the ACC is SMU that I don't think will be in the dance. And I think the Texas Longhorns, and Texas has played themselves out of the NCAA tournament. I know they spent a lot of money on that roster, so it's been a very disappointing season for the boys in Austin there. But Arkansas is another one that I'm a little concerned about. They gotta get a win in the next week, I think, to do some damage in the SEC tournament to make the NCAA tournament. With them losing the other day to South Carolina, I think they're on the outside of that bubble.
Yeah. A lot of talk. Cooper Flagg. We'll transition a little bit from March Madness. Are you betting on any teams? Like, where is he ending up? Is he the real deal?
He's phenomenal. I mean, he's achieved, like, coming into the season. I had heard all this speculation because he's just a freshman. You'd heard all this hype about him, and you're like, okay, we'll see it when he gets to the college basketball and the D1 and Power 5 level. But I mean, and out the gate, I feel like he was good, but he's been super impressive down the stretch here. He's averaging like 19 points and 8 boards, and really he hasn't had like a really bad game. I would say in this calendar year, you'd have to go back to November, December to when he had like a freshman like game. So I mean, I'm hoping, I know this isn't going to happen because the NBA money is so big. I'm hoping he comes back for another year to continue to polish his game. But I think he's going to go, and I think he's going to be the first pick of the draft. So, yeah, I haven't looked at the future board as far as what teams yet because the NBA draft lottery is always a little taboo. Yeah. But I fully expect him to be the first player off the board next year.
Yeah, it looks like it's so crazy. Like, as you get a little bit older and you see these like kids playing, they look so young. You're like, what? That's a 10-year-old playing. What is going on? He has such a baby face. And it's so weird to even think about him being in the NBA already.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, you think when you go to the games, it's even worse. When you go to the games and you're amongst, you go to a college basketball game and you're amongst the fans that are, students. you're just like, that looks like a 14-year-old. You're like, what? In your 40s, it just looks. And then you see the players. You're like, you're telling me they're the same age? Short of them being 6'10", that's the only difference. So,
and then to think like Cooper Flagg's gonna be in the league with LeBron, and he's how old?
Yeah, double the age, pretty much. Unbelievable. Maybe even more than double the age. That's crazy. That's crazy when you really think about that.
If you had to pick one, so we'll look at the top of the board for where he ends up. Wizards plus 500, Hornets plus 500, Jazz plus 550, Pelicans plus 550. Nets, my unfortunate, pathetic team, plus 800. 76ers 10-1.
I'll throw out the Wizards. I'll throw out the Wizards just because, they need some excitement in the nation's capital. I feel like been kind of stale for a while. So, but with the draft lottery, it's different. Like with the NFL, I feel like you can actually pigeonhole who's going to have the first pick. Right. Okay, what's their weaknesses? Would they draft him? Would they not? With the NBA draft lottery, it's a little bit more unpredictable there.
It's really a trap. Like they shouldn't even be offered.
Yeah, it is tricky. It's
like
very tricky.
Suckers. Like this is like when you really should like call the number at this point.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have any college basketball bets that you want to give out before I let you go?
As in tonight's plays or in general? Yeah. I do have some plays for conference tournaments, but your main conference tournaments haven't been announced yet, so I don't have odds on them. We don't know the seeding, but just for some mid-major conference tournaments, I like Towson, the Towson Tigers plus 450 to win the CAA. I think there's value on Northern Iowa plus 475 to win the Missouri Valley. And one that I think is flying under the radar with some decent value is Radford plus 750 to win the Big South. Those are three that are we don't have all the conferences yet, but I don't know what these odds will be, but I'm going to probably take a shot on Texas A&M to win the SEC tournament. They're the most experienced team within the SEC. They've done it before. Some of the guys on the roster have done it before. So I'm going to take a shot on that. And as for tonight, I am going to take the Kansas Jayhawks plus the points against the Houston Cougars. I think Houston will win the game, but I think that's the correct side. I also like some of the conference tournament games in the Atlantic Sun. I like taking a shot on Florida Gulf Coast minus 4.5 against Queens. And I like Eastern Kentucky to beat Jacksonville outright.
Amazing. I love it. Make sure everyone goes and follows Colby. Thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate you. First show jumping on here. We'll have to get you on, especially once we get into the heat of March Madness.
Oh, for sure. You're welcome. And welcome to the team. And thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We are brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport plus props for every game and the live dealer casino. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and a lightning fast payout using crypto. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SMALLS for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SMALLS. And Rhythm is throwing an epic March Madness party, and you're all invited. All Rhythm users are invited to a First Four watch party Wednesday, March 19th at the awesome, my favorite, as you guys know, Stadium Swim at Circa Las Vegas. Free drinks, plus you get to hang out with the guys from the Sports Gambling Podcast and the College Experience. And it gets better. Rhythm is also giving away a $250 March Madness future for one random lucky Rhythm user. Even if you can't make the party, you can still win with the future bet. Just sign up for your 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Come by and use Rhythm to help you fill out your bracket and make some bets while you are there. A free party bus plus a chance at $250 future bet. Look at me in these ad reads. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party. Underdog, NBA, NHL, college basketball, whatever your sport, you can cash in big with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Underdog is offering a Luka Doncic discount for every Lakers game for the rest of the regular season. Also, for football diehards, Pick'em projections for select players, 40-yard dash times during, well, that was last week, so probably need to leave that part out. And you can use the code SMALLS to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SMALLS. Now we get to talk some golf with my very, very good friend, Mr. Brad Thomas. How is it going? How did I do on my ad reads?
Look, you were killing it. It was a mouthful. You were going through it. I thought you balled out, you know?
My mouth is dry. My high noon's empty. That was pretty good. All right.
You have breathe someone another high noon.
Woo! Okay. How's it going? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You know, I'm excited for API. I live down in Orlando. I'm a Golf Channel employee. So, you know, I love Arnold Palmer.
Hell
it's
yeah.
a really good event for me.
How are you? You're going to the event then, right? Of course.
I'm actually going to be only going for work, and then I'm go Thursday. Then I'm going on a cruise, so I won't be there for the weekend. Yeah.
Where are you going on your cruise?
Going to the Bahamas, a little short weekend trip.
That's nice. That's awesome. Well, you're down there, so you kind of have the luxury of being able to do it. And like, oh, it's just a short trip. No big deal.
Yeah, I'm a cruise head. I go on a bunch.
Are you?
Yeah.
I
you know, I just love that stuff, right? Like free food, activities, pool, beach, good vibes. Casino.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, Cognizant. Let's talk about it really quick before we jump into what we like already for API. Were you a NAP backer this week? I don't remember.
I was not a NAP backer. I was a Russell Henley backer.
Okay.
And I was super confident. Oh, dude has no spine whatsoever.
Oh gosh.
When he tied for the lead at 17 under, I was like, this is his tournament, right? Like
time.
All you have to do is just take what's given to you. And literally, I'm just watching the guy he plays like the three hardest holes, the three hardest pin locations, and attacks the pin, and he bogeys all of them. I was like, what are you doing? Like, your caddy should tell you, middle of the green, take your birdies when they come.
I literally, so even with NAP, I had to do my recording for the trailer for the show and stuff. And when I walked out of the room and like shut the TV off, NAP had one foot in the water. And I was like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, he's fucked. I'm like, I just know, like, I just had a horrible, I'm like, this is not going to go the way he thinks. Like, I think he thought he could see way more of the ball than he actually could. And it went exactly as planned at that point. Like, as I expected.
The NAP backers have to be so sad. And you know what's funny? I had NAP first round leader. I was going to bet him outright. And then, like, I normally do like my mid-tier to favorites first. And by the time he was selected in my cart and everything. By the time I got to go bet him, he had dropped from like 150 to like 90 or 70 or something. I was like, we'll just do first round leader. So I was like pissed the whole time. I was like, he's gonna win this tournament, and I didn't take him.
And I feel really sick because I know there's a lot of like people that backed Knapp and Aldrich, and they had back weeks of just.
I was pots. I was on pots. Yeah.
I don't think I could ever bet again if I had those two bad beats. Like I would just be really sad.
I was sad on Sunday, and I was at the pool watching it, and I was like telling my boys, they're like, "Yo, you okay, man?" I said, "This is back-to-back weeks where it feels like my stomach is just on the floor." Like, I was so
and the
upset.
thing is, golf is crazy like that. And if you don't bet golf, you don't fully understand what it's like. Like the bad beats in golf, like they just sting harder. Like there's something about it. Because to be able to identify and have someone that is literally in contention on Sunday, and then for them to blow it, like, do you know how many guys you have to like? This is betting golf is like is not the same as betting other sports. So it stings. It hurts.
And you're so like emotionally invested in that golfer for 4 days. You're like watching every single one of their shots because they're at the top of the leaderboard, and they just pull the rug from under you. You just like want to cry.
I have to say, I was a little bummed. Like I know I do glaze Spieth a lot, but like I was really I had already written in my notes when I started my research for API, like a little bit earlier in the weekend. I just was getting things together, and like I had made a bullet point, like excited to like bet on him this week because I love him at this event, and he didn't get the sponsor. And I thought he was going to kind of play into it. Like I had a little hope there for a little bit. So I'm a little upset that we're not going to see him. I saw Vincenzi tweet out, the winners of all 6 regular events this season have been longer than 70 to 1 to win. And then the winners of the signature events have been the big names at shorter prices. And we're seeing that kind of happen.
Yep.
So looking at API, you know, are you looking more at the top, or because I think there's some intriguing names. Like there's some odds. I was surprised they're a little as long as they are for some of these guys.
I'm going to play API kind of creative, right? I'm going to be the chalk donkey, and I'm going to take Rory McIlroy. But what I'm going to do is I took him for a half unit already at his base price. And then, I handicap a ton of different sports. Soccer, I think, is one of the softer markets. I'm going to parlay him with a couple soccer bets and both teams to score in Champions League. I feel like 8 to 9 to 1 is a really good price for him. I'm not mad if no one wants to parlay, but man, if I can get some of him at like 18 to 1, it gives me a little bit more flexibility to add like 1 or 2 long shots.
Yeah. I really like him here. I also like looking at, if you kind of just want something to like bet on a little bit, I think his top 10 number at -115 is actually really attractive if you don't want to bet the outright. Like, I think it's still a fun way to get in on the API without like, all right, you don't have to take him outright, but you can still get the top 10. -115, like, this is a place that I really like him. We all know I'm a little bit of a Rory. I wouldn't say a hater. He's just like he's not my favorite person. I think one of the things about golf is it is fun to be able to like bet on the guys that you do enjoy so much. I totally get Rory. That. So it's hard for me to get there, but I like him quite a bit. Who else did you bet like kind of outright so far?
So he's who I bet so far. I'm going to take Russell Henley. I'm going back to it, right? Yeah. Like my logic behind betting Russell Henley doesn't change too much through the Florida swing. While Cognizant played a lot easier than it has years past, it's still going to be like, you got to hit fairways. You got to be a great ball striker. Yeah. And if we were comfortable playing,
I don't. He's always nipping. I don't understand it. It's so bizarre. He needs like pasties. I don't.
Yeah, put the paste like the
marathon. He's the only golfer. You see his nipples in every shirt. Can I say nipples on this show? I don't know. Okay,
you can. But yeah, no. Like I feel like if you liked Russell Henley at the last event at Cognizant at 25 to 1, well, hello, he's 55, 60 to 1. The exact same kind of skill set's going to win. Probably it fits him better playing here than at PGA National because the rough's going to be thick, right? You're going to have to hit those rewarding tee balls. He's really great off the tee. He's a really underrated ball striker. And now we're getting him double the odds. Yep, that's because Scotty Scheffler and Roy are taking a lot of that liquidity out, but I still think it's a very good spot for him. And I couldn't believe 60 to 1 after like if you look at his stat profiles like over the last few tournaments, he's just been the guy who's been around.
Yeah, 100%. And this would totally be the type of situation where everyone jumps off of him finally and then he wins, which is why I kind of want to jump in because I haven't yet like been in on him. I've only had him top 20 last week. So maybe it's the week to do that. I bet Theegala 110 to 1. Good course history here. I like the way that this course fits him. I think the 110 to 1 on a guy like Theegala here, who the last 2 years, 6 and T14, like I like his odds here at that. I think you're getting, I like him in 1 and done 2. I'm flirting with it just with the way that things have been kind of mapping out for me. And then Lowry 45 to 1. I'm on him still. I didn't get a great number. I wish I took it earlier, but I do love him on like these difficult ball striking courses with the potential of like some fun weather. Like if there's any type of like elements mixed in, that's when I like to use Lowry. He had a strong last week. Lowry is the only one that's going to hurt Lowry. I wish he could pull it together all the time. He just can't put all 4 rounds together and he drives me crazy.
But the problem with Lowry like last week is he was such a great pick for that tournament had it been like 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm never playing Shane Lowry at a birdie fest, but it's not going to be a birdie fest here at Bay Hill. So I like him a lot. Another name that and it's going to sound kind of out there, right? But
I'm ready.
If Bay Hill, because there's going to be wind in the forecast, weather's going to be a little bit more tough. If Bay Hill gets a little bit of wind, right? So you have a course that's semi-long, really thick rough, gotta hit greens. Who's a guy that just won at like 100 to 1 over at Torrey Pines? Russell Henley, and he's 100 to 1 here, and he plays better on Bermuda grass, right? So like Torrey was a great win for him, but now he's playing at a course that's even like it's real similar in the terms of what it's going to demand, but even better. He's a better putter on Bermuda. This guy is used to playing on Bermuda, and he has really good course history.
Yeah, I didn't take a look there at him.
Wait, I said the wrong name. Did I say Harris English is what I meant to say.
I was going to say, I thought, did you mean Harris English? I'm like, hold on.
I have him right here in front of me, and I was just
thinking. We're very passionate about Russell Henley.
I'm obsessing about Russell Henley. Harris English's number has dropped a little bit too, but it's still in the playable range.
Yeah, I don't understand. That doesn't totally make sense to me. 3 other names that were popping at me. I'm not saying I'm going to get their outright, so please, no one like run to do this. Looking at Sanjay M, Christian Kirk, also looked at Benny On. I don't know why I always want to bet Benny On. I have to jump off the Benny On thing. I think looking at Decky, what is with me and Benny On? I just feel like he should be more of a winner, and he's not.
He's such a great personality too. Like,
yeah,
he's
he
a
really
great personality with a good golfer, and you're like, and his odds are always great. That's what they like lures you in.
And I think it's crazy, like looking at the odds, like you see like where like Michael Kim is this week, which I love. I think Michael Kim, first of all, great follow on Twitter. Like if you are a golf head, he's a fantastic way to get like insight on just like being on tour. Like he does these tweets after the tournament and they're awesome. Like you get like kind of an insight of how he felt, which is sweet. But I think who was the other one I was going to bring up too? I totally lost but Michael Kim, you look at his odds where they are and some of the guys below him. And I'm just like, why are you like, really? Michael Kim shorter? Okay.
Like he has like minimum
win so great
compared to all the guys around him. Like he has one PGA Tour win. And then you think about even like your Theegala pick. Theegala has longer odds than Michael Kim, right? Which is really crazy.
It's crazy. And then Decky always, this is a place where I like him, you know, one of 4 players here who ranked top 30 in driving distance, long iron proximity. We like those things. Top 20 in 3 of the last 4 years at this event. So I'll probably wait to see, like his top 20 number is only, what is it? Plus 110. Don't really love that. If I'm going to do it, I'll probably just bet him outright, like each way. I think is the direction I would go if I end up getting at Decky, but I seem to always be on the wrong side of Decky.
I was on him for his win and it just felt right. Like sometimes I feel like I force Hideki too much.
I think I do that.
And because like Hideki's one of those guys where he's going to be a good course fit at a lot of places, right?
That's the problem.
Hideki is never like, I don't think he's ever won an event where it's like, this is the Hideki week. It's always when you're like, oh, how did Hideki just win that? And I'm just jamming him all the time because he's always got a good price too, like 25 to 1 to 30 to 1. He's been 40 to 1 a lot too recently.
I'd be really surprised if like we get a winner here that's like, wow, that's so surprising. But I do like to do my $2 chalk every week. So I pick like a player kind of longer down the board.
Yeah.
You know, you sprinkle a little bit of high new money, a couple bucks, whatever it is. Is there anyone like with longer odds than, I don't know, dude, I keep breaking this light. This is the second time I've done this on the show. Like longer than 100 to 1 that you like.
Longer than 100 to 1. Listen, I'm just going to, and I know this is not even be remotely close, but I'm going to go with Matthew Pavone, right? He's 250 to 1. Dude's, he's been in the mix. He's a good ball striker. I like when you're taking long shots, and this is a thing that you see tournament after tournament. When long shots win events, normally they're not just popping up. They're not just like, boom, I just had the best tournament of my life out of nowhere. There's some kind of build up to it, or they had like this really good course history at the same thing. Like you think about Brian Campbell. Well, I would have never bet him. He had good course history when he plays the event, although he didn't even make the cut. He had one good round. That's all, you know, like you need to take little nuggets like that. And I think Pavone, with the way he's been playing, listen, he's playing better golf than Eric Cole. He's playing better golf than Adam Hadwin. He's playing better golf than a lot of the guys who are equally priced to him. Why would I look? He's playing better golf than Max Homa. Max Homa is $10 cheaper.
Gosh, yeah. Max Homa. I like watching. I don't know how much of Full Swing you watch. I haven't watched all of it yet, but like watching the Max. Like I think it's just the first episode, and like seeing Max Homa's name in like the top 5 of the Masters, I was like, where is Max Homa gone? Like what?
It feels like decades ago.
Max Homa. This is horrible. My poor Max Homa. Pavone is one of the guys I looked at. I think I will end up throwing a little bit on him. Also, Nick Dunlap, 200.
I like Nick Dunlap a lot. Listen, and Nick Dunlap had like the worst possible way to play here. He had just turned pro. I think it was his first pro tournament, right? Like I had talked to him a little bit last year, and during after his practice round, I was just like, yeah, dude, like, how you feeling? You know, like little old me talking to him. So imagine how many people, how much media he's doing. If little old me is even talking to him, like it's just not a good spot for him to have a ton of success.
You're probably the best conversation he had though. Yeah. He came in 48th last year.
Yep.
I think the way I might do this is like the each way on him. You can get that's like 150 to 1. Cause like, I mean, if he comes in 6th, I don't know that I'm like, wow, that's crazy. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But you know, he last played at Genesis. which was one of his better performances too. He's had no miscuts, 2 top 10s in his last 6 starts, 10th at Sony, 17th at Torrey Pines. His driver's been a little bit funky, like not baseline for him.
For Dunlap, and I think I'm gonna this is gonna be his career arc. He's the kind of guy you can't really rule out at tough driving courses, but he's the kind of guy who can have those spike rounds with the driver, and that's really what you need, because I think once he starts to when he's feeling the driver and the driver's cooking, it's cooking the whole tournament.
Right. Yeah. And then you look at, I mean, he's 10th on tour and approach from 175 to 200 yards. I like him here. So I think that's like a nice little $2 chuck if you want to just pop something in. Anyone else that you're looking at before I let you get out of here and we wrap things up?
Yeah, I want to just talk about this price. It's for a top 20 market. I thought Ben Griffin top 20 was a pretty good price. I know Ben Griffin's going to win this year. It's probably not going to be a tournament like this, but he's just playing really good golf, and it looks like he's getting a little bit more confidence. So to get him top 20 at almost double your money, I think it's worth a little shot there.
Is it really? I didn't even look at that. And he's just been playing well.
I already pegged. He's going to win the JDC or something. But I mean, if he just keeps playing good golf, then
100%. Yeah. And it's, I don't know why. I think because he doesn't have that. He's not a household name, and he's not someone that you get super excited to bet on. My Sam and I split an entry in Mayo's one and done. And he's wanted to use him a couple weeks. And I'm like, dude, I just think that we can get by without fucking taking Ben Griffin. I don't think we need Ben Griffin. Can we just come up with another? But I kind of get it now because he is playing some really good golf. So I like that top 20 price quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, back-to-back T4 finishes, those were the easier courses that he's played. So this is a little bit of a step up in difficulty. But sometimes you just got to take guys who are in good form.
Yeah, 100%. You're fantastic. I'm coming on your show tomorrow. Tell people where they can find you.
Yes, you can find me on X at Mr. Brad Thomas. You can listen to my golf show. It's the No BS Golf Show. It's No BS Golf on X as well.
Yes. Okay. You're the best. I'll let you get out of here. And for everyone that just watched my first episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, I'm so excited for this chapter. Appreciate everyone tuning in. We will be back on Wednesday. There will be some football talk. A Giants rant might be coming, but for now, subscribe, leave, rate, review, do all the things. And I will see you guys on Wednesday.
Watch them make it, break it.